Hey, happy Tuesday, my friends. It is the end of August. Can you believe it? We are moving into September. Yeah, pretty crazy. So today we're going to talk about monetizing your book. And we've talked about this a lot before, but I wanted to kind of tackle this a little differently than normal. I figured we would kick it off by thinking about the thing that you're marketing. Because if you do this well, and this is really what we talk about a lot here at Book Launchers, is figuring out who are you selling your book to. And when you're thinking about monetizing your book, into your business to use it to make money, you're also thinking about who am I selling and what am I selling, who am I selling to, and what am I selling to that person. And so that's where I wanted to start today. So, taking a little bit of a different approach to the live stream, because what I shared at Podcast Movement last week was something that a lot of people came up to me after, and they were like, there's so much nuance to what you do at Book Launchers. And so I thought, hey, why don't I share some of the insights that I shared at Podcast Movement with you? So, the first thing I shared was a little bit of a story. So I stepped on stage and I kind of said, okay, so where are my real estate investors at? Because in every room there's real estate investors. And then I said, okay, I said, so you don't have to be a real estate investor to appreciate this or to get this story, but here's what we have as an idea, or here's what happened to me. And I was on stage, and after I came off stage, a little group formed around me, which is always cool. And hello, Dawn of a New Day, and hello, Angela. If you are here, do say hello. I will only talk solely at you for a few minutes, and then we'll dive into some specific strategies for monetizing your book. But this is foundational. So I got off the stage, and this little group formed around me, and this one guy came charging up to me, and he's like, "How many doors do you own?" I was like, I'm talking to people, and he's like rudely interrupting. And he's like, "How many doors do you own?" And I kind of smiled and I said, "Do you want me to count back doors? What about cupboard doors? Like, which doors are we talking about? Closet doors?" I knew, of course, he meant, number of properties, or in the apartment building world, they count doors. Like, if you have one building, but it's got 100 apartments, they count it as 100 doors. But I was kind of being smart because I had just been on stage sharing my perspective that it's not about how many properties you own, it's about what the properties are doing for you and for your goals. And how I knew people who had 100 properties and were underwater versus I also knew people who had two properties who were kicking back, enjoying $5,000 a month in cash flow from those properties. So who would you rather be, the person losing money with 100 properties or the person making money with two? And that was a lot of what I talked about in the real estate space, came back to kind of booting these commonly held beliefs and saying, hey, here's a different perspective on it. Those of you familiar with the channel will also recognize that that's a lot of my approach here is I'm going, hey, book sales are great, but especially when you've written a book to grow a business, book sales are probably not the most important metric. It's a metric you can use to determine if other things are working, but if you're trying to grow a business, your most important metric is probably number of clients. It could be number of leads. It could be number of opportunities to speak. All of those things might be the metric that are more important to your goals. So the first important thing is to kind of come up with your own perspective. So what's your equivalent of, more properties is better? Or in my case, I would argue that it's nothing to do with the properties, it's what they're doing for you. So what's in your industry? Anybody who's been in an industry for any amount of time has something that most people believe to be true that you have a different perspective on. And then how does that perspective help people? And even taking that further, how does that perspective help a very particular person, a very particular type of person with a particular problem? That should be the foundation of your book if you're using your book to make money, to grow your business, to grow your brand. And without that, everything else I talk about today will be tricky because you really need to have that interesting angle or solution on what you're doing in order to monetize with a lot of the things that we'll talk about today. Hey, Mindful Eats, great to have you here. Speak with Love, great to see you. Gary, hello. Wonderful to have you all here. do say hello. If you're new to our live streams, we do have prizes for participation. One of those prizes is our fabulous, I'm calling this the vintage version of our hashtag no boring books, because if you've taken a look at our website lately, we have updated it. And so, speaking of updates, also, we are rolling out a course to help you market your book. We also are rolling out a course that is called Self Publish and Succeed Live, which is going to be a 12-week course, essentially doing what we help clients do, which is turn their book into a course. So we've turned, or we're turning, Self Publish and Succeed into a course, but it's going to be something that we work focused on writing your book. But we'll give you lots of training and tools so you know the next steps. You're set up to succeed, but we're going to actually really help you, with brainstorming the hook, brainstorming your audience, doing those things. And then our book marketing course is going to be teaching you what we do for our clients. So we're really excited to be doing some training pieces because a lot of people have asked us for other ways that we can help when they're not necessarily wanting our full service. So that's pretty exciting. Anyways, that's a side note, but that is part of monetizing a book. So Self Publish and Succeed is a book. I can turn around and show you guys right here. So, and this is one of our prizes today too, along with the mug. And turning this into a course is one of the ways that you can monetize your expertise and take the content that you've worked so hard to create and turn it into a course. The beautiful thing about doing that is you've done the hard work. And that's one of the things I want to emphasize today is you've done the hard work of thinking through the material. When you've written the book, you now have this clear content, and your book should be set up to consume, but a course is set up to have people take action. And so that's one way to monetize it. And then, with a course, the way we're doing it is it's going to be live. You're going to get the benefit of groups. You're going to get the benefit of group brainstorming, of group accountability, group support, and then of course I'll actually be doing most of the teaching of that particular course, and so you'll also get the input as you go through on into your particular case. Plus, you'll get the training. Many people will turn it into an online course that has no interaction whatsoever. Totally fine to do that as well. In our space, we like to provide input and insights, and a lot of what makes a book great is giving people that input and ideas and questions to help them consider what else their book could be, or how it could be positioned, or helping them see things that they don't already see. All right, speak with love. I am into the mind, body, and soul healing and author transformational speaker. Great. Mike Hurd, hello. And Mindful Eats. The courses sound exciting. Where are they going to be hosted? They're going to be through Thinkific. We have already, for our clients, we have a place called the Foundation Library. So, our clients that are already working with us in our membership service, they already have the Foundation Library. So we're just going to create, other portals for other people who aren't necessarily our clients. And of course, our clients will be able to access and participate in these courses as well, because it will benefit them too. But yeah, we're excited to do this. It's something that I haven't actually wanted to do, truthfully, because my previous business was a training and education business. But there's been so many people on my team and so much excitement for courses that now I'm actually getting really excited to do this. And I'm excited to work with people a little bit more closely on their books, which is something that I don't do normally. So so it's a cool opportunity that we're working on now. So if you don't already get our launch letter, make sure that you are subscribed, which you can do on our website. And we'll be sending out details on all of this. And I'll post some stuff probably on the community channel here and all that. Okay, so back to monetizing, because that's what we're talking about today. So that unique hook, or that unique perspective, is something you want to use in your marketing. And of course, it provides the basis for the hook of your book. And, without recovering all the details, your hook of your book, of course, is that outcome of the outcome for the reader. And a lot of, in particular, because we're talking about nonfiction books, a lot of monetization comes back to offering that outcome of an outcome. And, I've often talked about this with leadership, but the other example that I like to use is talking about, if you have a hair regrowth solution, and, who's your market for that, and what's the outcome of the outcome. So your hair regrowth solution, the outcome of the outcome that you want to focus on is not the fact that a bald man or woman for that matter, may have hair growth after. It's what that hair growth does for them. So, does that mean more dating opportunities? Does that mean better career opportunities, higher sales? What does that mean for that particular person? And that's what you're selling. So that's what your course is selling, right? So my self-published and succeed live course, as an example, it is selling your ability to write a book that is positioned for selling and achieving your goals. So that's what it is. We're going to coach you through writing that book so that you are set up to market that book and achieve your goals with that book. So it's going through all this piece. And same with marketing a book. Marketing a book, it doesn't just teach you how to sell books. It's what's that outcome of the outcome for that reader. For us, it's helping you get books into readers' hands so that you're growing your audience and growing your business. So hopefully that makes sense. Trying to give you lots of examples because all of that provides the foundation of what you're doing. Okay, so essentially, a couple of quick tips, which again, regulars to the channel, like Mike Hurd, know this already. But if you haven't already written your book, it's a great opportunity to look at your chapters and think about this monetization because your chapters can become talks, they can become workshops. Those titles themselves provide, if you write them well enough, they're providing a benefit, they're creating curiosity, and they're little salespeople for your book. And I've often given the example from my second book, The New Brand You, which I didn't do a lot with, but what did come from that book was quite a few speaking and training opportunities as a result of one single chapter. The chapter title was You Are Who Google Says You Are. And that was the primary thing that sold books because I got invited to speak. I created some workshops around this, and it was a really, really pivotal chapter. So imagine, and that happened for me almost by accident. I did put time into my chapters, but at that time I didn't quite fully appreciate the power of a great chapter title. And imagine if you have two or three money making chapter titles like that, where people go, whoa, like, I need you to teach me that. I need you to give a talk on that. I need you to teach, or I need you to consult in my business to solve that problem or to help us figure that piece out. Those are money making chapter titles. So in progress books, I highly recommend you spend a little bit of time on this and really think it through because they are opportunities for you. Okay, so now I'm going to get into like specific ideas for monetization. And one of the ones that I think is under considered is using your book as currency. And so this is where, especially if you have a business, your book can be used in trade for other things that are highly valuable to you in your business. So one of the examples I've given in the past is I partnered with my first book, More Than Cash Flow. I partnered with Canadian Real Estate Wealth Magazine, which is a national real estate magazine. And I gave them, I don't remember the numbers anymore, 250 copies, something like that, of my print book. And they gave it to anybody who purchased a 2-year subscription to their magazine or more. In exchange for those books, I got ad space in the magazine. I got tables at events where I could sell my books, but I could also promote my services. And I also got the advertising in every single magazine because, those little cards that fall out of a magazine, those subscription cards, my book was featured on that for almost a year, at least half a year. So there was tons of promotion, and the ad space and the event speaking opportunities I used to promote my training and education company at the time. So I used the books as a way to actually get tens of thousands of dollars worth of value for my company. So using books as currency is a tremendous way to gain a lot of value for your business. I've talked about it with Self Publish and Succeed, and with the new marketing book that'll be coming out in 2023, we'll probably do something similar. Is I have partnered with North Street Books Prize, and anybody who enters their North Street Book Award, anybody who enters their award has the opportunity to download a free copy of the book, and in exchange, I get promotional time and space from them, and it's a great kind of win-win opportunity for us. I also get my book in the hands of more people who have written books, who maybe they've written fiction or they've written narrative nonfiction, and now they're going, hey, I want to write a book that's going to build my brand and my business more. Okay, let's see. Checking you guys' comments out, and then we'll head on over and we'll do our first prize of the day. Literacy Smiles on Ladybugs. I love your name. That makes me smile. Mindful Eats says, how did the chapter title get picked up by those who then booked you? Great question. So, I mean, this is where I had an advantage because I had already been speaking across Canada in particular, but even at the time, I'd done a handful of talks in the States. And so there was already people I was connected with. And it was the first time I got picked up, the first invitation I got to speak and to sell books at that event. Actually, they bought copies of my book for everybody at that event. Um, it was somebody I'd already spoken at their event previously. So I had that advantage. When the book came out, I sent them a copy, and I don't even know for sure if I sent them a copy. I think I did, or they just bought it because they were in the same sphere, and I'd spoken at their events in the past. But that was how that first talk came to be, and that first talk led to several other talks. And then once I realized this was an angle, I started pushing it myself, and I actually hosted a workshop, a live workshop that I had people fly in all over the country, and I had speakers come from the States, and it was really fun. Um, so that's kind of how it started. If you don't have that already, I would reach out to local meetup groups. Local meetup groups are how I started speaking largely, and I would just connect with a local group, and I would offer to come in and do a high value talk, not a promotional talk, but a high value talk to teach their audience something that was relevant. And little bit by bit, that opened up the door to bigger and bigger and bigger talks. And then, like I said, this Canadian real estate magazine partnership really put me on a lot of big stages, like in front of 600. I think 800 was my biggest audience, but it put me in front of a lot of people. But that was a partnership through the book that really came to be largely just by being present and engaged at events. And engaged with the magazine in particular. I had pitched them 2 articles. Now we're going down a rabbit hole, but let me just go there because this is a lot of people are looking for the magic buttons, and there aren't magic buttons, right? It's a series of actions that you take over time that open doors to opportunities, and it's how you show up and step through for those opportunities that can lead to new and other opportunities as well. And so for me, the whole Canadian Real Estate Wealth Magazine partnership actually started with me reading about a year's worth of their magazines and going, my angle on this, which was the numbers aren't the most important thing, wasn't covered. They covered numbers all the time, but I wanted to share that angle. So I had that angle, and I also had a female investor angle. And so those were 2 angles they hadn't covered, but they were in line with what they already cover. And I pitched them those articles, and they picked one. I submitted it. It went well. I pitched them another one. And that partnership formed from there. I started to build a relationship with the magazine, which led to the opportunity. So, phew, but it was not one thing, right? It was like one thing led to another thing, which led to other things. So hopefully that uncovers that for you. Let's see here. Okay. Just looking at my notes so I can pick up my next one. Oh, I was going to go do a prize. So before I go to the prize, so that was your books as currency. So getting creative. How can you leverage your book to give you opportunities that are worth way more than the books themselves, but also get the book into hands of people that are an ideal fit for your book, for your service, for your product, whatever it is you do. So those are enormously valuable. And I don't see a lot of authors pursuing those things very often. All right, so if you don't know already, every Tuesday and Friday, including today, new videos come out. And if you comment the day a video is released, you get entered to win some sweet book launcher swag. So right now we have Self-Publish and Succeed. We have our vintage hashtag No Boring Books mug. And I think we still have a few journals left. Angela can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so I put everybody's names from the last 2 weeks into a random name picker. And I'm just waiting for it doesn't like that I'm on the computer at the same, that I'm doing a live stream at the same time as I'm clicking this. So, all right, here we go. It's spinning around and, ooh, Jean Shelby Books. I don't know if Jean Shelby Books is here today, but if you are, or you're catching the replay, congratulations, you are one of our winners. So email Angela at team, booklaunchers.com. She'll probably drop that in there, and she will, and let her know which prize you want, as well as where she should mail it. So thank you so much for your comment on the day the video came out. Congratulations. Okay, Now, let's do a participation prize. So today is the 30th of the month, and I don't know, do we have 30 comments yet? We might not. So this is your chance, my friends. Put a comment in if you haven't already. And I will pick the spot where it begins. So you can't game this system. I will pick where we count from 30. So I will do my next tip and then we'll come back for that piece. And in the meantime, I saw Scully's House of Thrillers is in the house. Welcome, my friend. So great to see you here. Okay, next tip. Um, so I kind of already covered this one, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So, turning your book into a course. So, we've got books as currency and turning your book into a course. So, this is truly one of my favorite things to do because your content is already done. And then you can decide how you want to do it. And so the part that I kind of alluded to this already. There's many ways to turn it into a course. Again, a lot of people will turn it into that automated online course. What I can tell you is that having an evergreen course is wonderful. And if you have a great sales page and you've got a good, engine that's constantly getting you out there, you'll sell courses. But having run a training and education company before, I can tell you that it is often easier to sell courses when you give a start date. And you give that start date, it gives that scarcity, it gives that, okay, you got to make a decision. And that can also provide the opportunity for you to get to know your people a little bit because you can have a start date, have a kickoff call. You can send them through a drip, with platforms like Thinkific. You can say, okay, you're going to get one lesson a week. You can have those lessons ready to go, but you can also have like group checkpoints, and that can be a really fun way to create engagement to help people actually use your course and get through it and get questions answered and fill it in. So that's one way you can do it. You can have the online evergreen. You can kind of mix it with group. You can mix it with one-on-one, um, and then you can also turn your book into a mastermind if it's a fit. And so we did this with our real estate course. We had our real estate mastermind, and it was a $10,000 a year mastermind. And we had one annual get together where everybody got together. We also had these training courses that everybody could participate in and have access. And then they had, a one-on-one call with myself or my husband every month. And it was a really, really cool way to take all the concepts from the book and teach them one on one and in small groups and help people get results. Because that's, again, when you think about your book, it's set up to consume. Of course, we want people to take action from our books. But the reality is, most of us read a book and walk away. But of course, you can have them have specific actions and be taking action throughout that course. So they're actually finding themselves results and getting where they want to go with it. And the group training and other pieces not only can increase the price you charge, but it also can create more engagement and more results. And the more results you get, the more testimonials you have, the easier it is to sell courses in the future and so forth. Um, so there's lots of different levels to do it and lots of different ways. You can also teach it fully live. So, and I've done that, and I actually, for the most part, preferred it. And the beautiful thing is, once you've done it once live, you've done the hard work. Once you've done one of these courses once, you've done the hard work of thinking through how it goes. You can learn, you can improve it, and then you can hit repeat. And it's every time you do it, it's half as much work to the point where it becomes easy and you can just be there to enjoy the experience because you know how everything needs to flow and be executed. But I actually love live training, getting people in a room, getting them to meet each other and training them there. And then you can have options if you want for getting access to the online courses after. But your book provides that foundation. And a lot of people go, well, if I put everything in my book, why would they pay me for a course? And again, it's all in how it's set up to help people walk through it, right? So the course is set up in bite-sized chunks that are like, okay, now go use this spreadsheet, go do this checklist, write in this journal, do this thing, have this conversation. And you can have exercises and other things to help people implement and take action. Um, Mindful Eats, why did you choose Thinkific? Don't worry if that's too long of an answer. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we evaluated, but we looked at all of the platforms. The only thing I don't love about Thinkific is that it's a monthly fee. So if you're not selling your courses on an ongoing basis, you're still paying a monthly fee, although you can reduce it down to bare minimum if you need to. I used to use Kajabi. Kajabi was a one-time fee, and I like that for a lot of reasons, but Thinkific is so easy to use. So for anybody who accesses it, who, if we build a course for a client in Thinkific, they can go in and edit it, change it, upload it. Like once we've got the structure set up, it's so simple and easy to use. It's got a lot of tools that make it easy to create great online courses. And yeah, I mean, the monthly fee is probably the main drawback. So there's lots of platforms out there. Lots of people go with other tools, but I also, they were great to us. They had a great support system. We knew some people that worked there in the beginning, and so there was, that rapport as well. Like I always care about, are we going to be able to get support for us or for our clients if there's ever issues? So yeah. Um, okay, let's see. Teachable is another option as well. Okay, so cruising on over. Let's see our next. Oh yeah, 30. So let's do our prize. So I'm going to go from, so that nobody could cheat. From Angela's welcome message. Speak with love. Welcome. So go 30 from that, Angela, and hopefully there are 30. There might not be 30. So keep commenting. That will make sure that you're in there. Dora, hey, great to have you here. First time. Cynthia, welcome. So glad to have you here. And yes, I'm looking forward to having you in the 12-week course. We will be in touch this week because I think we're going to change the start date, but I'm going to get you started while you wait. So we'll make sure you're taken care of, but you will hear from us this week. I'm just sorting out a couple of details before I reach out, but I'm excited to help you bring your book to life. Danica, hello. She says, any comment. I don't know if that was a question, like any comment will work, or if there was something else that you'd said that I missed. Okay, so back to monetization while we wait for Angela to tell us who won. So another one is, of course, book sales. Okay, so monetization from your book you're going to make money by selling books, and think about this strategically as well. So think about selling your books in a lot of places, in a lot of formats, in a lot of ways. Again, the hard work has been done. Once you have created this beauty, your hard work is the thinking that went into creating that, refining it, and making it the best possible product it can be. Now you can turn it into an audio format. You could have a large print. You can create a corresponding workbook. You can even, for some people that it's a fit, you can even do foreign rights or foreign translations. But even simpler than that is thinking about where else can you sell books. And I've been talking a lot lately about libraries. And I shared on Friday of last week, we shared a video kind of summarizing 3 ways to sell books through libraries. For a lot of authors that don't have a big platform, you're new to this. It's kind of like, when I first started out with no audience, I went to meetup groups. Starting at the grassroots level is a really powerful way to get community support, to get those fans that will, shout it from the rooftops about how great you are. And going to your local library, if you have a topic or a book, or you can create something that's of interest and value to them. And I know somebody commented, and I'm sorry I didn't look to see who it was, but there was at least 2 people who commented on that video that were like, yeah, I sent postcards to my libraries and it led to me being a part of an author panel. And I pitched this community event, and now through this event to my library, I did this program, and now the community libraries all connected, and now I'm doing it across other libraries. So there's opportunities there, and libraries are really flexible. All my experience with libraries is they're almost always willing to have you sell the books at the back. They will almost always carry your book, and they'll just buy it. It's the weirdest thing. They'll just be like, here's $20 cash. Can we buy your book? So have a receipt book on hand. Because it's very strange, but those are grassroots kind of opportunities. Looking in your community. When I was in Nanaimo, Canada, with where I lived when I had published my first 2 books, my CrossFit gym carried my books, and people that were members of the CrossFit gym bought my books because they saw them in the glass case. I know other people who have sold books at chiropractors' offices. My dentist actually used to feature a book on their bulletin board. They had a picture and they had any news clippings of me, so they would highlight it there. So look at your local community. If there's specialty shops or there's other places that you are already embedded in that community, there might be opportunities for you to sell your book there. And those opportunities are really cool, not only because it's in your own community, but those are some of the things where I said, there's not one thing, right? There's no one thing that is magical that you need to do that's going to make all the money. It's these little things done over time and kind of going, hey, oh, that's cool. Let's try this. And where does that lead? And that leads over here. And being willing to just keep going and be persistent and just keep spreading the word and leveraging that book. Okay. Oh, Mindful says, oh, Mindful was the winner. Okay. So Mindful, if you want to pass it on, okay, great. Literacy Smiles, where are you located? Let's see. I don't see the answer. Okay. And Cynthia says the outcome of the outcome concept is a bit hard to grasp. So, yeah, and that's why I think having group coaching for Self Publish and Succeed is really important because a lot of people, sorry, I made my screen shake. A lot of people will go, okay, my book's going to give them hope. Well, that's the first outcome, but what does that hope do? That hope might be the thing that gets them to put their running shoes on and go to the gym. That hope might be the thing that gets them out of bed on a dark day. But you have to know your person and know your topic well enough that you can dive in to get to that outcome of the outcome. And so that's where knowing your reader, knowing your audience is really important. And often people will struggle with all of this if they aren't clear on who they're here to serve. And who this book is meant to serve, because it's nobody's book is going to serve everyone, and that's where you kind of have to start and know that piece. Oh, we've got somebody from Ireland today. We have Germany. Oh, so exciting! It's an international event today. Um, okay, Angela's checking up on our literacy smiles as our backup winner. Okay, so let's see. Okay, next piece. Okay, so partnerships. So your book can open up partnerships. And I've touched on these kind of as far as books as currency, but let's take it in a different way and look at, okay, so you might be mentioning, okay, one of the my next book and even this book, I really should be sponsored by Publisher Rocket. Let's be real. I talk about Publisher Rocket all the time. I have an affiliate link, so I definitely get paid a little bit of money. It's not a lot. I think we get $50 whenever somebody buys Publisher Rocket, something like that. I'm not sure. But that's not why. Like, I love Publisher Rocket. We use it every single day at the company. I use it on a regular basis, partly out of curiosity, partly for research, partly for just testing things. And so there's an example of a company that maybe there's some sort of a partnership opportunity for my next book. I'll definitely reach out to Dave Chesson and tell him that I am promoting the heck out of his product. But if there's something that you talk about genuinely in your book, a product, a service, a company, there might be a way to partner up with them. And so that might mean they buy a copy of your book for everybody at their company. Maybe it means they're giving a copy of your book. They buy it from you. They give it to everybody who buys their product. There's lots of ways to look at it. And to me, the starting place for this is just looking at who or what you're already raving about inside of your book and trying to build a relationship there so you can see what they're trying to achieve. So perhaps there's some way that you can create some sort of a win-win partnership where you're monetizing, growing your audience, growing your platform, and you're also serving them in some other way. And so I think one of the best things you can do is just go through your book and see who you're mentioning and who you're mentioning and in what context, and perhaps there's an opportunity there. Um, Bill, you missed the beginning. That's okay. I forgive you, my friend. We're talking about monetizing your book, and we're going through some pretty big ideas as far as how you can make money. from a book, and thinking about it earlier on makes all of this easier, but you can still use it after the fact. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so I think we got a winner on that. So congratulations, Literacy Smiles, and thank you, Mindful Eats, for sharing. Okay, I got one more prize for another person who commented on a video. So let me open up my random name picker one more time. And let's see. The next winner is Crystal Renee. Congratulations. I think we have another one who might not be here today. Usually there's at least one that is live today, but Crystal, if you're here, congratulations. If you're catching the replay, congratulations. You can choose between a mug, a book, or a journal, and you'll need to email team@booklaunchers.com to collect your prize. All right, let me give you guys one more tip, and then I'll just answer questions from there. There's lots of tips I could share, but these are kind of big ones that I think will get you guys thinking. And of course, at some point, I will do. There's already one video on the channel talking about monetizing your book. I just was giving you guys a different perspective and some more information today, and I'll do another one in the future. So this one is kind of a funnier one in that I would say it's using the content from your book to monetize that content. And there's lots of ways you can do that. And so it's up to you what your platforms are. I've seen it. I've seen people take excerpts from their book and turn them into articles for Medium, and get paid for that over time. Of course, I have turned a lot of the content into videos, and the videos get monetized after your channel gets 1,000. I think it's 1,000 subscribers. So you can get ad revenue. You can also get sponsorships over time if you want to. You can write blog posts for your website and put ads on those. You can also get affiliate income from that. So again, this is where a lot of times I end up talking about Publisher Rocket as an example, because I've already mentioned them. And I might write an article for our website, a blog post, and I might talk about keyword research or category research. And I would say, okay, you can do this manually, but you can also use a tool that's already set up to do this. And for $97 or whatever they charge, you can just buy this software. And inside of that article, which is probably content straight from my book, you can get the link. So you can generate money from that. So there's lots of ways to take that content and turn it into something that now makes you money. This is not like kick back on the beach, retire money, but this is money that can pay for ads, that can just give you a little bit more income. And the wonderful thing about content monetization is that it is, once you've done the work, it's passive income, right? You want to keep creating content, but the content from historically, like my videos on YouTube that generate the most ad revenue are the videos mostly from the last 4 years. From 4 years ago. There's one from 2 years ago, I think, that is in my top 5 that are generating the majority. And those top 5 videos generate 80% of the revenue for the channel. So those videos are not videos I'm driving traffic to anymore. For the most part, I'm driving traffic more to the videos in the most recent year, generally speaking. So that's passive income. And a lot of the videos in the past came from book content. And then of course, with the latest book, I actually shot a lot of the videos and then took the transcripts from those videos and turned that into the book that will be coming out in 2023. Whew. I could talk about this all day. I hope you got a great nugget. And to wrap that up and to give the last prize, I'm curious which of the monetization nuggets I shared today was your favorite. And I just realized that I should have been writing down timestamps as we were going so that I can put chapters in this. So if somebody does that for me, if you're watching the replay and you do chapters to tag where timestamps where people should catch each of the tips, that would be amazing. So thank you. So go ahead and share your favorite nugget today. And then Angela, I will take questions now. I'm just looking up what you guys have been talking about. Bill uses his book for business and he has a lead magnet and get consulting engagements from CEOs. Yeah, so that was one thing I didn't dive into. So let's go there now. is your book is a great lead generator for your company and your product and your consulting and your service. And so monetizing your book in a lot of opportunities is giving it away for free. So I was just at Podcast Movement, which is what inspired this topic, because I talked a little bit about using your book to monetize your podcast, writing a book that positions you to grow your podcast audience and monetize that podcast audience. And so that's a beautiful thing too, right? Some podcasters are selling ad space on their podcasts. And one thing a lot of them are doing is they're either turning their podcast episodes into a book, or they have a book and they're turning it into a podcast. They're taking each chapter, breaking the chapter up into, 2 sections, and those become episodes, which can be really cool. It's a great way, again, to build your audience and serve more people, but you can also sell revenue or sell ad space on your podcast when you get enough of an audience there. So, and a lot of actually, I talked to a lot of podcasters who've sold their show. So there's a lot of networks picking up shows now. I probably talked to 4 or 5 different podcasters that have sold their show. And so that's pretty cool opportunity too. I don't know how much, I don't know what that means and how much they're getting when they sell their show, but that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see your tips here while I'm waiting. Mindful says great stuff, and Mike says I love the idea of multiple formats. That's fantastic. Mindful Eats best tip for me was to name the chapters wisely and with potential in mind for them to be workshops or talks in the future. Fantastic. And Dr. Pat's in the house. That's great. I love it. Okay. First question. So I'll come back. I'll give more people, sorry, my nose is really itchy. I'll give people a chance to post their favorite tips, and then I will, and then we'll choose the winner for that while I answer a couple questions. So question 1, literacy smiles, ladybugs, any tips or tricks for children book writers? Not really, which is why I am excited to bring in a webinar in the middle of the month. It is going to help you, give you some tips on it, and then they have a service that they offer to teach you how to produce a children's book. It is the thing that we get asked the most that I have almost nothing to offer. So I'm really excited. I got to check out this course. I think it's a really good course. And so the webinar should be fun, and I'm excited to share that with you to help all you folks with children's books questions, because I can tell you I'm an avid children's book consumer. Right now, we're reading for fun. We're reading What Should Danny Do over and over and over again. And if you've ever seen that book, it's kind of cool. It's a choose your own adventure that reflects how you make your decisions and how it changes your day. So my son is really into that. And of course, we often read about Titanic and dinosaurs and sharks and all of that fun stuff. So no, I don't really have a lot for children's book writers. So that's why I'm excited to bring in somebody to help you with that. Question 2, did you do those talks for free, the local meetup groups? Absolutely. That's the thing. A lot of people feel like free is something they don't want to do when it comes to talks. But if you aren't already, and even if you are already on big stages, there's local meetup groups are a tremendous opportunity to meet people, get that grassroots support, uncover other opportunities in your community, and practice your material, because especially if you're going to get paid to speak, it's like comedians. Comedians, when they get on stage, they've gone to a bunch of open mics, probably in like rundown areas. If you've ever lived in LA, anybody, or in other areas where, like, if you go to an open mic night, you almost always will see a well-known comedian going on stage to test his material or her material. And it's the same thing. Like, meetups are a great opportunity to test your material. And it gets you that, like, you can see the people really clearly versus when you get on a stage and the lights are shining really bright in your face and you can't really see people. And, for whatever reason, half your audience sits in the very back row, even if the room is only half full. They're sitting in the very back row. So yes, I did, and I still do a lot of talks for free. My talk at Podcast Movement, I do not get paid for that talk. I'm speaking. I have a couple other events coming up, and I'm not getting paid for them. But the audience is great. I can sell or give away books, and it's a great opportunity for me to connect with a lot of people. What I haven't done is pay for stage space. A lot of people do pay to get on stage and speak. That's something I haven't done. But that's how valuable it is to get in front of an audience, is many people will pay for that opportunity as well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of starting small when you're speaking and letting the doors open or even pursuing them, because that, meetup groups really accelerated because a lot of people go to meetup groups, have other events that they organize, and it can really accelerate your speaking career quite quickly, depending on what topic you're talking about. It's like churches. If you are part of a church group and you speak at the church, sometimes that opens up a lot of doors too. Okay. Um, Chapter titles that can be turned into. I'm just looking at your guys' tips. Uh, Edward said, I've never considered selling ad space. Any tips for novices? I just did a YouTube video. I sometimes forget if I've released it or not, but I'm pretty sure I did a YouTube video on this. Angela, can you I'm just gonna actually check my channel right now because I'm not certain if I released it or if it's in queue. Sponsorships and ads, I did. It was published on August 5th. So Angela, if you can grab that link and drop it for the person who just asked that. uh, Looking at your tips, you know what? Can you turn these tips into a graphic or an FAQ format? Probably. I probably can. Somebody can, maybe not me. Okay, so Q3, question 3 was Vax fans. Okay, I can't say your name. Fans. I don't know. Mal. Let's just call you Mal. Was thinking about meetup groups, and the first one that appeared to me was Toastmasters. Do you recommend getting public speaking training? This is up to you. I've never joined Toastmasters myself, but I did get training on how to craft a talk, and I've gone through a couple of different programs to help me be a better speaker. And frankly, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. I was just talking to Sarah, our book marketing manager, when I was at Podcast Movement, and where I am on stage today is still miles away from where I want to be. But I'm always like that. I always believe there's opportunity to be better, to grow, to improve. So I'm kind of in that constant evolutionary state. But I never did Toastmasters, but there's nothing against them. I've seen people, recommend them and love them and highly recommend them. But what I would say is Toastmasters, maybe depending on your local community, might not be the place that will help you kind of grow into the other kind of talks, but it will help you get more confident and comfortable getting up in front of an audience. Toastmasters does a lot of improv type stuff. Like they give you a topic and you got to get up there and speak. What I recommend is you get connected to your stories, your tips, and your book material. And that may or may not be something that you can do at Toastmasters, but anything that gets you confident and comfortable standing in front of an audience will benefit you as an author. All right. Let's see. Q4. I've never considered, I did answer that. And is that it for the questions? Dora asked, can you tell us more about your upcoming 12 weeks course? Yeah, we have 2 courses that we're going to be offering. The 12 weeks course is our Self-Publish and Succeed Live. It's going to be focused on helping you write a book that is positioned to sell and positioned to grow your business. So we're going to be spending, a lot of time, as a group, working through what's your hook, who's your audience, and I'm going to help you research your audience and get to know that, build an outline, and then we're going to have time to write. We're going to have group Q&A and kind of brainstorming sessions and writing time. So there's going to be, it's going to be one part training, one part, support brainstorming, like let's figure this out together, and one part writing time. And then as we move through the 12 weeks, we're also going to cover a lot of the other details that are in this. And I'm going to bring in a couple people from my team to actually teach you how to set up some of these accounts that you'll need to set up to publish your book. We'll teach you how to hire the different editors, that you might need. And there's a few other kind of pieces in that puzzle. And then we'll just touch on marketing. But really the focus of this is to get your book drafted and have what the next steps are so that you have choices as to how you get your book published, whether you choose to then engage Book Launcher School membership to do it, or you now know, okay, this is what I'm looking for in an editor and here's how I'm going to go hire them. Either way, you'll be empowered to take the next step. So that's the one course. And it was going to start in a couple of weeks, which is what I was just telling Cynthia. But I think we're going to bump its start a few more weeks to the beginning of October, to make room to start the marketing course, but also to get a few more people into the group, because the power of that course is going to be in having group input, group support, and group brainstorming. So we didn't give it enough time to promote it. So we don't have what I think is a good enough group. Like, I'd like to have 12 to 18 people in that group in order for it to be beneficial to everyone in the group, because not everybody will show up for every call. And so, all calls will be recorded. So that, if you don't know about it yet, it's you can get, let me see if I can grab you the link here. I'll post it here, and maybe. And then also we have we have a marketing class that we are going to be launching later this month to support everybody that wants help doing what we do. So how we break down how to pitch. So that's going to be a big thing that we're talking about. We're going to talk about your author branding and how that feeds into everything that you do in your marketing. And this is really, there's probably going to be two levels. We're going to do a marketing kind of foundation and then an advanced marketing class probably next year. But this foundation is going to be for people who have no audience or minimal audience. So we're not going to spend a ton of time talking social media strategy, because that takes too long, right? We want to dive into those things that are going to help you get results. So what's your Amazon page look like? What's your, what are you doing to do outreach to in front of other people's audiences? And what's your media kit look like? How have you prepared your media sound bites? And we're going to work through those things. So that's what that course is going to be, because we want you to be uncovering those opportunities when you have no audience. Because social media will get you there eventually, but it's a slow road. And so this is going to be, okay, let's help you market and sell those books when you don't have an audience. And let's break it down with what we do to help you do that, so you can take it from here we go. The link right there is to our course, the 12-week course, Self-Publish and Succeed Live, which, like I said, the start date is probably going to change, because we dove so enthusiastically into it that we didn't give ourselves enough time to get a good sized group for it. So I didn't plan on going too deep on any of that stuff today, but I'm excited to talk about it. So that's good. Let's see. Okay. Louis said, can you provide more context? What sort of tips? Oh, sorry, you're asking him. That wasn't for me. I was like, I don't know. I see. Louis, hopefully I'm saying it, or is it Lewis? It might be just Lewis. My Canadian side of me immediately thinks of a lot of names in French. So any tips for Kindle Vella authors? Not really. We don't do anything that I can think of off the top of my head with Kindle Vella. Dale Roberts, I'm pretty sure, Self-Publishing with Dale, he has some tips for Kindle Vella. I'm trying to think of who else I've seen. Mandy, I've just forgotten her last name, but I think she's done Kindle Vella as well. And Edward says I'm the MVP, so thank you. Okay, so I got to give you guys one more prize. So let's see, I'm just going to pick my favorite tip. So, and Positive Herding Dog also said April Cox has a lot of great material for children's books authors. I'm going to write that down and check her out, because we want more resources to share for people with children's book questions. So let's go to, Mike, you popped up. I think you've won everything. So if you want anything, let us know. Otherwise, you can choose a winner today. If you would like, because your tip of I love the idea of multiple formats was the first tip that I saw when I was scanning for today's winner. And after we have that winner, we're going to wrap today, and I hope to see you all back here in 2 weeks. I'm going to be at FinCon in Orlando next week, so if anybody else is at FinCon, please do come on by and say hello. And to our authors that already have books published and it's in the finance space, come by, because I'll probably have your book on the table so you can sign it, so some lucky person could take home your signed book. All right, Mike is going to donate his prize to the first newbie here. So Angela, if you can go back up, I can't remember, but somebody said first time here. So give it to that person if they are in the United States. And Mike says everybody deserves a gift. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike. My YouTube besties are the best. And Mike is absolutely one of my YouTube besties. So thank you so much. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. So we'll just wait. Edward, oh shucks. Well, Edward, there's always next time. Make sure you comment on Friday and Tuesday and Friday when the videos come out, and chances are you will get entered to, well, you will be entered to win, and chances are you will eventually win. It happens that, there's a regular crew of like 20, 25 people, 30 maybe, that comment on every video. And so most of them, like Mike, have won absolutely everything there is to win. And then you can become like Santa Claus and give the prizes to other people. Angela Dora C is your next winner, she says. So if you are still here and you're in the States, then you're today's final winner. All right. So, and Edward, yes, commenting more, asking questions, chiming in during the live will also get you prizes because we like to make sure the people who are here participating also get prizes. So thank you so much. I will leave the chat open for a minute so Dora C can hopefully chime in. Otherwise, make it a great day, my friends. I would love to have a crew of you in our marketing course, in our Self-Publish and Succeed Live. I'll be posting them in the community channel real soon. And I think I'm going to start doing some YouTube shorts here soon. So, let me know what you think of those once they start. All right. Make it a great day, you guys. Bye.